Joining me now, former Homeland Security Acting Deputy Chief of Staff. Back with us is Lora Ries. It's great to have you back on. What is your reaction when you hear the Texas Governor Abbott? He says the Biden White House again denied Texas's request to issue a federal emergency disaster declaration for the border. We've got Panama warning 60,000 migrants coming, and that it is seeing that it apprehended Al-Qaeda, people with Al-Qaeda ties inside Panama trying to come to the U.S. So when you put that all together, what is going on here?
Well, it's understandable that Governor Abbott asked for a federal emergency declaration after the Del Rio experience of 15,000 migrants appearing in 4 days, suffering from 100-degree weather. They needed water, they needed food, they needed shelter. The border protection and immigration is a function of the federal government, not the states, and yet Texas is left to pick up the bill. They've already devoted $3 billion to fighting this border crisis, and yet FEMA denied the request when FEMA has granted other requests at a rate of 10 per month. But to grant this request from Texas would be an admission that the Biden administration policies have created an emergency.
So, again, we've got, Republican Texas Congressman Vicente Gonzalez is putting out press releases saying Panama is warning that migrants with Al-Qaeda ties intend to cross. That's dangerous stuff. So we're really playing politics. It's a sign of weakness to say what's clearly a disaster zone, to say that it's not. That's what's coming out of the White House, really?
This is absolutely a national security crisis and a threat, and the administration has plenty of notice with this next group. Hopefully they heed that warning, but I fear that they won't. And instead of preventing this group from illegally immigrating into the country, if they were to be consistent, they would instead process them in quickly with the hopes that media would not be paying attention, and that just endangers Americans.
You know, Border Patrol authorities and other border authorities have repeatedly come on saying the media and the Democrats and the White House are being fatally naive, that the cartels control the regions south of our border, that you have to pay them to get across, criminal cartels. Now we have Texas Governor Greg Abbott releasing a video of Texas National Guard gearing up to protect the border as the 60,000 are headed here. I think he's doubling the number at the border. I think it's up to 2,500 troops. Is that enough?
Well, probably not. And again, we need the federal government to do its job. But this administration, time and time again, has tied the hands not only of the Border Patrol, but ICE to do interior enforcement. They tend to blame law enforcement first, to punish them first, as we saw last week with the Border Patrol horse patrol, and to deflect blame elsewhere from their own policies.
But Laura, the border towns and neighborhoods and communities keep saying, why don't you declare it a federal disaster area? It would point millions of dollars toward us. They are feeling left high and dry, that the White House, the Democrats, don't reach out to them. And if we've got now, as Tom Homan has said, and other border authorities, 100 terrorists over the last 3 years trying to cross into the U.S., via the southern border, why isn't that a hair on fire, fire engine red alarm moment for the White House and D.C.? This is scary stuff.
It is scary, and it absolutely should be a hair on fire moment. Unfortunately, it's not hard to imagine what it's going to take to get this administration to change its policies, because we've been at this now going on 10 months. And so I fear that it's going to require a terrorist attack, or with all the drugs crossing the border, and in record number as well, particularly with fentanyl, prominent deaths from overdoses that somehow can be tied back to the border, because this administration is not changing course short of that.
It's unfathomable, right? I mean, and then you have this story. 16 Republican senators, including Senator Joni Ernst, sent a letter to Homeland Security saying, why are you letting Afghan refugees just walk off military bases? There's that story, too. What do you say?
So the Americans need to be concerned with the vetting of these Afghan evacuees. And the Biden administration repeats that they have been thoroughly vetted. But the administration has lost the benefit of the doubt, both with respect to the Afghan evacuation, but immigration generally. And we know that terrorists exploit large migrant flows. We saw that after Syria. And so this population should be continuously vetted for a reasonable amount of time, and it's going to require a lot of follow-up oversight to prevent radicalization.
Yeah, well, they're saying the number of independent departures could top 700. That's what Reuters is reporting. Okay, Lora Ries, it's terrific having you on. We really appreciate your input there. We will have you back on again soon as we stay on the developments at the border.